Hey guys, Jordan from the Affirmation Project. So today I want to talk about whether achieving goals and being motivated and going out and getting them is a good way to live or not. Through my experience, I'm not sure it is. Well, not for me. I think it's different for everyone. But give you an idea, in my early 20s, late teens, up to about 26. So for around a 7 or 8 year period, I was heavily influenced by these, motivational people. Your typical people, such as I remember reading books from Alan Sugar, a famous businessman from the UK. I was obsessed with Arnold Schwarzenegger and everything he'd achieved. I read all of his autobiographies, followed his story. And I would get great motivation from these people. I would hang up motivational quotes all over my walls. I actually went through a period where I was trying to reduce my sleep so I could get more done. So I would average kind of 6 or under hours a night in order to get up like The Rock and go and smash some weights in the gym before, heading to university. And was really motivated there. I got a first class degree. I was top of my classes. Not that I wasn't academic when I went to university, but I was never top of my classes during high school. I was always kind of bored with the whole educational, process. So I definitely tried it. I tried. My first job I got was at IBM. One of these highly regarded companies within society. I thought that doing all of these things and achieving goals would bring me great satisfaction and happiness. What I actually found was a lot of emptiness and depression, actually. So it didn't really fulfill me. So, for example, when I moved to Australia in 2014, I got a job at a company working for the banks, and I was quickly progressing up the management scale there, doing what I always do, really trying hard. At the same time, I was preparing for my first bodybuilding show. I used to be very into that as well, which obviously all the motivational things helped with that a lot, because that's all psychological, really, and you need a lot of motivation to do that kind of sport, if you can call it a sport. So I did that. I was getting promotions and moved away from home. I was trying to make it on my own. I managed to get sponsorship to stay in the country and get permanent residency. So on paper, I was doing really well. I was smashing it. But at the same time, I went through some of the darkest period of my life. I had outrageous anxiety. I was depressed probably 3 out of 4 weeks of the month. I just found it really difficult to maintain that. And ever since, so what did I do? Sorry, what did I do about it? Well, I quit that job. I left it. Didn't really have anything to go to, but I was trying to start some companies at the time. But now, a few years on after that whole period of my life, I've actually discovered that slowing down, a lot of reflection, a lot of quiet time, peaceful surroundings, not being in cities, living out in the country. It's actually calmed me down a lot, and I actually find a lot more inner peace with myself. So I might not be achieving, massive goals and, striving forward and conquering, but I'm much more happier and at peace with what life is about. If you can figure that out, what it is about, it's a whole other topic. But I just think that, is there something to it? Because motivation and all these inspirational people, it's pushed so heavily on us by society and the script. So I have often wonder, is it a trick? Like, it's great to be motivated and to achieve goals, but just doing it for the sake of doing it because that's what you feel like you should do. I think that's where the trap is. Like, for me, I was never motivated to excel at my job because I thought what I was doing was helping humanity in any way. I was just motivated because that's what you do. You get to the next level, you become a manager. And what did I find out when I became a manager? I actually hated it. I preferred much more, just being one of a group, being one of the agents that I was managing. I actually found a lot more joy in that. The whole management thing was a bit of a con. You got paid less and you had to work harder and longer than everybody else, especially in sales when you factor out commissions and things. Well, in the organization I was in, I got paid less. So yeah, I just wonder if you're gonna be motivated to actually achieve something. Personally, for me, it has to be an inner motivation. It has to come naturally towards the task or the goal you want to achieve. Just being motivated and forcing yourself to live a certain way because that's how you progress, in the eyes of society, and like that's how other people have done it. That won't bring you happiness. You'll achieve goals, but they'll be hollow and empty. So I feel like you have to naturally find a groove and find something. And when you find it, you won't need motivation. You won't need to listen to all these motivational people and read all these books and self-help books. God, I've read so many self-help books. They're not helpful whatsoever. I feel like that whole industry is a bit of a con, to be honest. But I'm 28 now, and I feel like I'm living almost as if I were about to retire at the moment, and it might just be a stage of my life. I might get over it and want to conquer again. I mean, I don't have a family. I don't have any children. I've got a wife. The rest of my family is back home in England. I'm living in New Zealand at the moment. So maybe if I had children, I had to put food on the table, and it was a much bigger task than myself. I had a greater task than just taking care of me and my wife. Maybe I would be more motivated to go out and really achieve things, but then again, would that be hollow? I'm not sure. Only time will tell if I ever get to that stage. But yeah, that's my thoughts anyway. I'm part-time now. Live in a container house, mortgage-free, debt-free. I'm absolutely loving that lifestyle, to be honest. Have enough money to get me by each week and put a bit aside for nice things. My wife's doing the same, and yeah, this is how I want to live at the moment. Maybe things will change. Maybe I've got it all wrong and I'll regret this period of my life in a few years, but it feels right at the moment, so I'm just going to continue to do it. Alright, cheers guys. Let's catch you.